Hi everyone, I'm Maria. Welcome to my channel. Today I am in Turks and Caicos, but getting here during the COVID pandemic, let's say, was a little bit of a challenge. They have requirements that must be fulfilled before you're even allowed on the plane to arrive. So why don't we just jump into it now? First, to travel to Turks and Caicos, you must be fully immunized. That doesn't mean you just received the first shot or even the second shot. You must be at least 14 days post the second shot to receive access. Also expect that you're going to have to provide proof of vaccination. Coming from the United States, I had to provide copies of my vaccination card, and upon arrival, I had to show the vaccination card as well. Second, Turks and Caicos requires us to have travel insurance. Not just any travel insurance, but travel insurance that provides for medical coverage, medical evacuation, I believe of at least $50,000. And that needs to be uploaded to the TCI Assurance portal to get your authorization to enter the country. Notably, the health coverage is not just your regular medical insurance. It's a particular policy that needs to be uploaded to ensure that you meet the requirements set out by Turks and Caicos for entry into the country. Third, prior to entering the country, you need to produce a negative COVID test, either a PCR test or an antigen test. This test needs to be taken no more than 3 days prior to arrival. You may want to consider not taking it immediately 3 days prior to arrival, because if you get your approval and your trip is delayed for whatever reason by 1 day, you need to restart the whole process. We booked our COVID test 2 days before departure to ensure that if our flights were delayed by a day for whatever reason, that the authorization to enter the country would still be good. Otherwise, if you take your COVID test 3 days before departure and you're delayed by 1 day, you're required to start the entire process over again prior to arriving in the country. Finally, once you've completed all of those steps, all of that documentation needs to be uploaded to the TCI Assurance portal. Now, let me tell you, it was very frustrating for me. I did not upload it via computer. I used my smartphone, which was a very easy process. I took pictures of our vaccination cards, of our one-page summary as far as the required travel insurance, and also took pictures of the COVID test. That wasn't a problem. The actual process itself for uploading the information was easy peasy. My biggest issue with the process was the wait, and there seemed to be no rhyme or reason as to when these applications were going to be approved. First of all, I started uploading my information, and then I uploaded my husband's information. By the next day at 10 a.m., the day before we were going to travel, my husband's application was approved, even though I submitted my application prior to that, and all of our information was basically identical other than the names. The approval was received on Thanksgiving at 10 a.m. Noon came about, still no approval for me. 2 o'clock, still no approval to me. 4 o'clock, I still didn't receive an approval of my application. I had Thanksgiving dinner at our home. I had guests, and I had to keep on checking my phone because we were leaving at 3:45 the next morning. So here I am at 6 p.m. with still no approval, knowing that I am going to be leaving my house in less than 10 hours. It was extremely frustrating, and I understand the country is busy in processing these approvals, but it certainly was very nerve-wracking. I just didn't know if I'd get the approval in enough time to be able to fly out. Notwithstanding, by 8 p.m. the day before I was supposed to fly out, I finally got the approval. Don't think that once you are approved through TCI Assurance that that's the end of the game. Make sure that when you are traveling, you have paper copies of your vaccination card, or I brought my original, paper copies of your travel insurance, paper copies of your COVID tests. Make sure you have copies of the QR code that was received once TCI Assurance approved your application. Because once you land at the airport, you will go through a line and there will be people checking that you have the required paperwork. If you don't have the required paperwork, you're not then allowed to go to the next section, which is customs. After going through so much trouble trying to get here, I have to say it certainly is well worth it. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.